Hello everyone, as promised I am doing a review of the air compressor that I just got in the mail the other day. Now the reason I was in the marketplace for air compressor was because I was looking for something to replace my old Pash D500 air compressor. That was state of the art at the time, maybe 20 years ago, but now it's kind of dated, it's getting a little worn out, and that is a diaphragm air compressor, which means that it suffers from pulsation, which is kind of annoying. So I did some shopping around, and I finally decided on this model, which is the Silentaire Scorpion 1. I decided on it because it had all the features that I wanted, and it came in at a decent price point. It's not the cheapest air compressor. It retails for around $135 on eBay, $160 if you include shipping and California tax. But for what you get in terms of the features, I think it's actually pretty good bang for your buck. Alright, so let's go over some of the features right now. First of all, it has an on and off switch, which most air compressors have these days. My old one didn't have one, which is really annoying in terms of turning it, on and off. It has an airbrush holder and handle, an air regulator with moisture trap, and it has a hose. Pretty simple stuff, but it's all I really need. In terms of the power, it's a 1/5 horsepower, and for my purposes, in terms of model making, painting models of robots and things like that, that's perfectly fine. I don't need anything more powerful than that. Alright, one of the big features about the Silentaire Scorpion 1 is that it is a smart air compressor, which means that when you turn on your airbrush, it realizes that air is rushing out and the pressure is dropping, and it will turn itself on. When you're not using your airbrush, the pressure will build up, and it will realize that, and it will turn itself off. So that's nice because your air compressor is not going to be on all the time, which means less noise. But on top of that, it's going to be less wear and tear on your air compressor motor, so your air compressor should last longer. Alright, there are other air compressors that can do this. The one that really comes to mind is the Iwata SmartJet, which, if you're watching this video, you're probably considering the Iwata SmartJet as well. For the most part, I would say that there's some benefits to this air compressor and there's some benefits to the Iwata SmartJet. And you just have to decide which one's more important for you. The thing I like about this air compressor better than the Iwata SmartJet is that it comes with a real air regulator. If you want lower PSI, you just turn the knob to a lower setting, and the air pressure will drop. Pretty simple, and really that's how I think it should work. With the Iwata SmartJet, the air regulator that comes with it is more of a pseudo air regulator, because the way it achieves lower PSI is it has a bleed valve. So when you open up the bleed valve, air is going to rush out here, and not all the air is going to get through the hose. And the problem with achieving lower air pressure that way is, one, you're going to have air constantly rushing out here, but two, your air compressor is not going to know when you're using your airbrush and when you're not using your airbrush. It's just going to think that your airbrush is constantly on, and your air compressor is just going to constantly run. So it kind of defeats the whole purpose of having a smart air compressor if you're spraying at a lower PSI. Now, where I think the Iwata SmartJet is better than the Scorpion 1 is noise level. This thing lists at 55 decibels, but I think it might be louder than that. So if noise is your number one concern, you might want to consider the SmartJet, even though it is around $100 more. I mean, from what I saw on eBay, they usually run for around $234 unless you can get like a really, really good deal, like somebody just needs to get rid of their SmartJet. So that's something to consider. But I'm sure all of you want to know how loud this thing actually is, and I'm going to do a comparison between my D500 and the Scorpion one. So first, let's plug in the D500. So as you can tell, the D500 is not the quietest air compressor that you can find these days. I'm guessing most of the small air compressors are at a lower noise level. But hey, this thing is 20 years old, so it's kind of hard to complain. Alright, now I'm going to run the Silentaire Scorpion 1 as a comparison. So as you can tell, the Silentaire Scorpion 1 is still fairly loud, but it is quieter than the D500. And it's not too bad in terms of noise level. I would have preferred if it was quieter, and as you can tell, right there, when I stopped using the airbrush, it just automatically shut itself off. So like I said, that's the smart part of it that I like. So that's about it. I would say this is great bang for your buck for what you get. It's just a little loud. That's the main drawback. If you do decide to get the Silentaire Scorpion though, you want to invest in some Teflon tape. You can buy this for around $1 at your local hardware store. And this is designed to wrap around the threads of pipes so that water doesn't leak out. But for our purposes, we can wrap it around the thread right here that connects the air regulator to the air compressor. And if you don't do that, what's going to happen is air is going to leak out here, and your air compressor is going to think that you're using your airbrush, and it's going to turn on and off intermittently, which gets really annoying. So you want to create a nice tight seal. And to do that, you take this tape and you want to wrap it around in the same direction that you're going to be turning your air regulator. If you wrap it around in the other direction, what happens is the tape is going to crinkle and you're not going to get like a really, really solid seal. So wrap it around 8 times in the same direction and you should be fine. Yeah, you should get a pretty good seal. Alright, well that is my review. I hope this has helped you in your air compressor buying decision, and I'll see you next time.